I'm Alex. I hold about 70% of my portfolio in US stocks. And every December, I see Canadians accidentally give away thousands in taxes, not because they did anything wrong, but because they waited too long to make the right decisions. What that usually looks like is this. People suddenly remember taxes just 2 weeks before the year ends. And I get it. I've been there too. But here's the truth. If you're freaking out on December 28th, you're already kind of late. Most Canadians don't make any real tax moves before year end. They file in April, sure, but they don't make decisions in December, and that's where most of the money is actually won or lost. If you're new here, welcome. I analyze the US stock market from a Canadian perspective, focusing on what Canadian investors care about most. No hype, just practical steps to navigate Fed moves, tariffs, and market dips. And today I'm walking you through the real year-end decisions I review every December 31st before the clock runs out. No tax theory, no accountant talk, just real moves people straight up miss. Let's get into it. Here's the first thing I had to learn the hard way. December 31st is not about filing taxes. That part comes later. December 31st is a decision season. Once the year ends, things are locked. Your gains are real. Your losses either count or they don't. And whatever you didn't do by then is gone. CRA doesn't care what you meant to do. They don't care what you planned to do in January. They only care what actually happened before midnight. That's why I don't panic in December anymore. I just sit down, open my portfolio, and review. For 2025, your TFSA contribution limit is $7,000. There's no legal deadline to contribute, but December 31st is the deadline to decide what you want compounding tax-free for that year. Once the year ends, you can't go back and optimize that decision. And here's a key trap with withdrawals. If you take money out of a TFSA, you don't get that room back until January 1st of the following year. So if you know you'll need cash in early 2026, pulling it out before December 31st actually gets you that room back sooner. Let's talk tax loss selling, because the internet totally butchers this one. A lot of people think, oh, it's red? Cool, I'll sell it for the tax loss. That's not the move. Here's how I look at it. Don't sell just because something's down. I sell when the thesis is broken, or when my money can work harder somewhere else. The tax loss is just a side bonus. And by the way, this is where a ton of people screw themselves. If you sell a stock for a loss, then buy it back within 30 days before or after. CRA disallows the loss completely. That's the superficial loss rule. I always ask myself one simple question. If taxes didn't exist, would I still hold this? If the answer is yes, I leave it alone. If the answer is no, I sell it, take the loss, and wait at least 31 days before even thinking about buying it back. Also, don't wait until the 31st to sell. Because of the T+1 settlement, you generally need to execute your trades by December 30th to make sure they count for the 2025 tax year. All right, let's talk about RRSPs for a second. Most people think all you have to do is max it out, done. That's lazy thinking. What really matters is when the deduction actually hits. An RRSP deduction at a 50% tax rate is worth double compared to one at 25%. RRSPs are amazing when your tax rate is high. They're way less exciting in average years. And one pro tip, since most of my portfolio is in US stocks, US dividends inside a TFSA are still hit with the 15% withholding tax. Inside an RRSP, they're not because of the tax treaty. That matters when you're deciding what really deserves that TFSA space. While the contribution deadline for the 2025 tax year is March 2nd, 2026, the strategic decision needs to happen before the year closes. Contribution can wait, but thinking can't. Now let's talk about TFSAs, and this is one area Canadians really get wrong. This one honestly drives me nuts. A lot of people leave their TFSA in cash, GICs, or super safe stuff, while their highest growth investments sit in taxable accounts getting hit by capital gains. That's honestly backwards. My TFSA is prime real estate. No tax, no reporting, no drag on compounding. A dollar growing at 8% for 20 years ends up roughly 25 to 30% bigger inside a TFSA than in a taxable account, depending on your tax rate. That's real money. Instead of asking, what's safe for the next few months, I'm asking, what do I want compounding tax-free for the next 20 years? That mindset alone changes everything. Remember, your TFSA room for 2026 is another $7,000. It shows up automatically, but you can't go back and retroactively optimize the years you wasted. When it comes to your taxable accounts, I don't hate paying taxes. I hate paying dumb taxes. Paying taxes means I made money, but paying more than I needed to is just being sloppy. With the inclusion rate now jumping to 2/3 for annual gains above $250,000, the tax hit on those big wins is meaningfully higher than it used to be. This is also why I'm constantly checking for hidden traps. Can I offset gains with losses? Am I pushing myself into a higher tax bracket by accident? And with US stocks, our currency moves inflating my taxable gains without me realizing it. The CRA calculates your gains based on the exchange rate at the time of purchase and the time of sale. I've seen people owe thousands more just because the US dollar moved and they didn't account for it. This isn't about avoiding taxes. It's about not being sloppy. Once December 31st passes, the window is shut. You can't undo a gain. You can't retroactively realize a loss. The year is completely locked. Finally, don't forget the hard deadlines. If you're planning to donate to charity, do it before December 31st to claim the credit for 2025. If you have already opened a first home savings account, the contribution deadline for 2025 is also December 31st, up to $8,000. A lot of people assume the FHSA works like an RRSP and they think they have until March. You don't. If you wait until March, you've already missed the year. And if you're self-employed or have side income, make sure you're tracking everything properly. Those deductions matter way more when you're in a higher tax bracket. If this helped, drop a comment and let me know which of these year-end decisions you're still figuring out. This channel is all about helping Canadians avoid these quiet taxes and investing traps before they cost real money. So subscribe if you want to stay ahead instead of reacting late. In the end, this video is for information and sharing purposes only, not financial or investment advice. Always do your own due diligence.